Hello, my name is Odessa Compton-Aziz, and I would like to go over briefly what it takes to become a legal immigrant. I also want to help clarify some of the terms that we're hearing today in the news when it comes to immigration. This will also help us have a better understanding of what an illegal and legal immigrant is. So I would like to first start out with the one we hear the most: illegal immigrant, undocumented worker. These are people who have migrated to our country in violation of our laws and continue to reside in the U.S. without any legal rights. These are also people who come here via visa, which is legal, and overstay their visit and do not return. These people cannot work in the U.S. The next group is legal immigrants. These are people who've been granted access to the United States by USCIS. This is the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services. This person who comes this way can have access to work in the U.S. The next group we have is asylum seekers. Asylum seekers are people who come to the port of entry and request access to the U.S. Usually our southern border, from people coming in from South America, Mexico, or is what you hear about mostly. These people are applying due to whatever they are trying to get away from for legal status in the U.S. They may have access to working depending on the status that the U.S. gives them. Lastly is our refugee status. Refugee status are for people who come from war-torn countries, famines, things of that manner. The refugee status was established in 1951 through the United Nations. Most countries that most people will be familiar with at this time are Iraqis from Iraq, Bosnians, Cubans, and Syrians. These just give you kind of an idea and have a better grasp of what the refugee is. With that said, for legal immigration, it is a costly and timely process. Most people have no idea the amount of paperwork and finances that are needed to come to the United States. There are multiple ways you can come to the U.S. You can come as a family member. You can come as a spouse. You can come by yourself. You can come through a lottery system. Each country has a quota of how many people can come in through the lottery system, and they are vetted the same way as anybody who applies. And you can come for work, or you can come as a student. So that's 7 ways right there I can just think of off the top of my head and with my research. With that being said, these processes are not, again, cheap, and they are very tedious and long processes to be done. First, to start out, you have to submit a petition. The petition alone in itself costs $535 US. So just to give you an example, my husband, who came here from Morocco, US dollar, $1 is 9 Moroccan dirhams. So for our $1, that's 9 of theirs. That's pretty expensive when you're thinking about $535 US. So people who are applying for this are usually having family members behind them, or they had to have some type of means to be able to do this paperwork. This is one of the things that lead people to try to come in through port of entry. And because once you come in through port of entry, you can get a job, and then you can pay for your paperwork. So it's not that people are trying to come in illegally, they just don't have the means to do so. Secondly, time. The wait process can go anywhere from 3 months to 6 years and longer, depending on the time. People are not just allowed to come in freely. With that being said, the amount of money, again, back to finances, that a person and family take to bring a person into the U.S. is a good amount of money. Like, again, it starts from $535. It can go anywhere up to $10,000 or more, depending on the status and the paperwork and things that are being done. Some people have attorneys do the paperwork for them because it is a tedious process. Just to give you an example of what a person is going through, this is my husband's file for him to come to the U.S. This is actually all of his papers. This is heavy as a dictionary that we used to bring him into the U.S. that I did all the paperwork for. With that, this person in that other country that is trying to come here has to take care of their side as well by getting doctor visits taken care of. We do not allow people to come into the U.S. just free and clear not knowing who they are, where they've been, what diseases they possibly have or illnesses. We don't want that burden, and we also want to know what's coming in. So some of the things that they have to have are a vaccination record. If they never had them vaccinations, then they're going to get all their vaccinations. Any prior chest x-rays and new chest x-rays. Of course, why? Looking for tuberculosis and anything else. Copies of their medical history. Not just saying a clean bill of health. They want a history. Passport, identification cards, and any travel documents to prove where that person has been. Then they also have to do a BCI, a background check, fingerprints, things like that. Go through the world database. This is a very costly process. Just think about when you go to your doctor, and we have insurance to pay for all these things. And when we go and get our license or our visas or your passports, how much that costs us. So this person is doing that. Again, the process is very slow. And here I have a slide here to show you where a person has applied just for the petition. That is not saying you have the right to come here. This is them looking to say, yes, you can go to the next step. Again, it can go anywhere from 3 months to years. From there, all these fees that you are paying are non-refundable, even if you don't get granted. So this money is gone once it's paid out. With that being said, our processes are there to make sure that people are coming through safely, but I think we have other ways that we can make it a little bit easier for people to come through. But I think us as American citizens and Americans, we need to understand that these people are not just coming through freely. They are coming through these different manners and means because of where they're leaving. I hope it gives you a better understanding of what people who immigrate to the U.S. are going through. If you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them, as well as you can just go on the uscis.gov site, and it explains it step by step. And they have a little circle to show how you go from citizenship once you're in the U.S., because once you're in the U.S., you have a period of time that you have to go from a resident to a citizen if you would like to. I have that slide as well to give you just a brief idea. Thank you for listening, and I hope I was able to give you some clarification. So maybe when you're listening to the news, you have a better understanding of what these policies are and what we're looking into and what's going on in our country. Thank you.